let's talk about the advanced training techniques when it comes to training in the gym. Okay, there's a load out there. Okay, what colour? I'm a bit black. So the first one we'll talk about, and a lot of people know about this. So supersets. That'd be better. Supersets. NS. So with supersets, we are training two muscle groups or the same muscle group. It involves, so obviously, one muscle group or two. It involves two exercises. Okay. Now, when we first come to do this, I suggest, if you're new to supersetting, I suggest just doing two muscle groups. Okay, so you do opposite muscle groups. Okay, so let's say you do chest movement and a back movement. Let's say your chest movement is, let's say it's a bench press. Bench press, right, small. And let's say for back movement, let's go with something that, you know, we're not walking across the gym using two pieces of kit up, something that we can use nice and simple. So we're doing bench press, we're doing a bent over row. Okay, and I'm going to use a separate pen now. So I thought, why not? So we've got our exercises. We're new to supersetting. We're new to the whole idea of training techniques. God damn, we've just only learned about the gym itself. So now we've got our exercises. Now we're going to talk about reps and sets. Okay, so depending on your goal, let's say we've been in the gym now for 8 weeks. Let's change things up a bit. Let's shock the body. Okay, so what we're going to do is we've been doing 8 reps for the time being. Now we're going to do 12 reps. And you'll keep it the same for both exercises. Okay, this way you don't instantly die. Okay, which also means the weight needs to be lowered. Okay, let's say if you're doing 30 kilos for 8 reps, okay, you don't be doing 30 kilos again for bench press when you're doing 12 reps, because you're not going to get to those 12 reps. We want to be getting to those 12 reps. We want to be tearing those muscle fibers apart a bit more. Okay, this is the whole point of supersetting. You're shocking the muscle, you're developing the muscle even more, as well as you're working essentially two muscle groups at the same time, which kills a lot of time. Okay, but also what this will end up doing, this means no rest. Okay, and that's the main key part there. So once you've done one set, you're going to go to one, do a set, back to your one, and you're bouncing between them with no rest. Let's say you do 1, 2. I'll say your breather, you literally gulp some water down, not too much, and you're back straight into your bench press. Okay, hope that helps a little bit. Right, let's say if you're doing one muscle group. Okay, it's the same aspect, but however, instead of doing back, you're still doing chest, and you're doing a fly. Okay, it works exactly the same. But what I'll do is I'll lower the reps slightly. I'll knock back, so we can just do that. I'll go down to 10 for the time being. Okay, because when we're working the same muscle group is now going to be affected twice as much. Makes sense, right? So you get twice as likely fatigue. Okay, and if you're new to that, you don't want to be, you know, literally your first set, you're absolutely dead. Tricep. Tricep. Yes, not a tricep, a tricep. So with the tricep, I'm going to go down to orange because that's running out. We're going to use not 2, but 3 exercises. Okay, we're going to use one or two muscle groups. No, what am I about? No. We're going to focus on one muscle group with this. Okay. Now, what tends to happen is I focus these more towards the smaller muscle groups as such. The muscle groups that I've got 3 heads, but also you can get also blah 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 blah. Let's just cut that out. Oh shit. So 3 exercises. Okay. One, 2, 3. We're going to focus on the shoulders. So we want easy peasy. We've got 3 heads, so 3 exercises. So for the front delts, we want a front raise. Then we want a lateral, which is the side delt. And then we want a face pull. Those that don't know face pull, it's going to focus on the rear delts. All focus on the 3 heads of the shoulder. Okay, I'm going red now. And then with the tricep, we want to keep it again, all 3 exercises, the same reps. So let's go down to 12, 12, 12. Okay, so same again. There's no rest between sets. Okay, so you're constantly back to back. The only rest you'll be getting is when you basically put the dumbbells down to move to your cables, or from the cables to the dumbbells, or if you're drinking a bit of water in between. Stay hydrated, okay? Everyone happy with the tricep? And it's base forward from there, okay? And the reason why you'll do, let's say, the tricep and supersetting is basically to shock the muscle groups. Because once you've shocked the muscle groups, or even should I say, after so long doing the same thing, your body gets used to it. That's when that's when the advanced training techniques come into play. Now we've also got other ones. Okay, we've got the giant set. That's what giant wrong there. Giant set. Okay. With the giant set, let's go a different colour this time yet again. Let's go purple. So that involves 4 or more exercises. Okay. And okay, ideally you want to focus it around the same muscle groups. Okay, or alternatively it can be 2. Okay, but ideally 4. Okay, so in terms of example, we can focus on the chest, and the way you'll do the chest, same again, lightweight. You got 4 exercises, bear in mind. You're going to do 1, the bench press. Okay, flat. Okay, then you're going to go into a decline fly. Both using dumbbells as such. Okay, that is a shit DB. Then, for the other 2 exercises, I'm going to write it in red actually, because why not? 3 and 4. We're going to take it straight from the decline fly into the incline press. Okay, with dumbbells yet again. I don't know why I didn't just put flat press on the DBs, but okay. Then from there, we're going straight down into the flat fly. Still with us? And you can add more, but I'll say just say stick to 4, to be honest. To be honest, giant sets, triceps, I'll say stick to like 3 or 4 exercises, because I mean, from an etiquette point of view for the gym, you're taking up, I mean, you'll be taking up one bench, but you won't be doing the same weight on the press you would be doing your decline flies compared to your incline press and your flat flies. Okay, it's a lot of kit to be used up, especially when it's getting busier. You know, we're at the start of the year, so you know, keep it light work with the equipment you're using up. Think about everyone else. Okay, so that is your giant set. I hope you can see this. Pyramid set. So with the pyramid set, what colour should we go for? We don't know every colour, aren't we? Stick it to green, in fact. Oh, you can see it, you can see it. So, pyramid set is each set you have, you increase the weight but drop the reps. So, we'll draw a triangle. Okay, we're going to take it and subdivide it into 4 sections. Okay, this is where you're starting. Okay, this is the weight. We'll call that. We'll put over here. Okay, now reps are going to be inside, weight on the outside. So we're starting off on 15 reps. Okay, then the next set is going to be 12 reps. The next set is going to be 10 reps, and then 8 reps at the top. Let's say if it's 20 kilos, we're getting 15 reps. We're going to up the weight. We keep it even so the nerves don't go into spasm and be like, what the fuck has just happened? So 25 kilos. Okay, 30 kilos, and then 35 kilos. Okay, and then once we get to the top, that is a pyramid set. That is going up. So going up in weight means we drop the reps. Okay, and then vice versa. You come back down the pyramid. That's optional, by the way. Okay, and then you drop down. So do 35 again, and then drop down 30, 25, 20 kilos. Okay, and you can just repeat that process. Happy with that? But then you've got 8 sets. Okay, little to no rest. You're going to be about 30 seconds rest on the way back down. Okay, and then you're looking at about 90 seconds rest on the way up. Okay, this then leads us into drop sets. So drop sets can be linked to coming back down the pyramid. Okay, however, there is no rest. Okay, no rest at all. This is where, if you've got a training bar, comes in handy. If you don't worry, you can still do it yourself. Now, you can still use free weights for this. However, I find that cable machines, plate loading stuff, or pin loading machines work the best compared to your free weight dumbbells. Because if you're on your own, you know, you'll be resting when you're taking dumbbells back or plates off, etc. When you're not going to be resting as much in the dumbbells because you're walking with them, but they still get a little bit of rest for that muscle group you've been working. Okay, so drop setting means we start on, so once we've done a full set, add this at the end. Don't start off with it, because then you just absolutely fuck for the rest of your session. We don't want that just yet. You want to work those muscles first before you get absolutely fucked. And then I would say also at the end of the 4th set. Okay, so if you're doing 4 sets, for example, on the 4th set, you finish off with a drop set. You push yourself to fatigue, so push it even more, because why not? You've just done 8 reps. You did 6 reps. So now we're going to drop the weight. So instead of doing 35, we're going to do straight away 30 kilos. We're going to drop it by 5 kilos altogether, down to 25, and keep dropping until we hit a rep range of around 15. You won't be able to do it at 15. You'll be pushing it and you'll be like baby reps. Okay, and that's your drop set. Happy with that? Forced reps. Okay, so with forced reps, you're taking the last set of the working rate. Okay, the last set of the exercise. Okay, you can throw these, I'll say, same again, end of the muscle group you're working, because that's where you're going to get the most optimal result. Yeah, it's that extra little force, that little extra push that give for the muscle group to get all of it out. So you're taking, and ideally with a training partner, if you haven't got a training partner, you can still do it yourself, just ask for help as well. And also, that's what the gym's all about, you know, ask that person to come and spot you who's next door. Okay, so we've got the exercise. Okay, the exercise itself is going to be why do I feel like I'm spelling exercise wrong? The exercise we're going to choose is push down to the triceps. Okay, for example. So with the tricep push downs, for those that don't know, push down is this. Okay, for the push down, we're going to do 3 sets. The first 2 sets are your working weight. Okay, the second set we're going to increase ever so slightly, and we're going to try and go for the same reps as we did for the last set. Okay, so let's say the first and second set we got 15 reps. Okay, third set we'll come to grips and be like, look, I've upped the weight here. Okay, there's nowhere near I'm going to get to those reps, but we want to be about 2 reps off to failure from that point of view. So we're going to get to 10 reps. So 2 to 5 reps off. Okay, now with this, we're going to get up to those 15 plus. Okay, so the target is to plus that. We get to with force reps. So the force part is someone or yourself pushing on the contraction to help push down on the tricep push down. Okay, they then release, or yourself release if you're doing single arm, hold it there and then slowly come back up. Okay, that is your force rep, and then you go straight back into it yet again. Okay, hold, wait for the person to move their hand, back up slowly. Okay, you almost want to be jittering your arm, just like that. Okay, back down again, and you'll just keep doing that until the point where you physically just can't. You know, it's like squeezing the blood in the blood vessels in the muscle would just be popping it back. Okay, and you'll get to the point where you physically just can't. You know, it'll be straight up. Okay, that is your force reps. I hope I've explained that in a good, simple way. Okay, so you can understand a bit more. Anyhow, this then leads us into, look off. Let's leave that there because it's going into repetitions anyway. Pause reps. Okay, so pause reps is not forced. Okay, this is when you pause at the top of concentric and at top of eccentric. No, you don't. It's not the top. It's the bottom. Depending on what the eccentric is, at bottom of eccentric I've spelled eccentric wrong, I think. I'm not a speller, okay? I'm a worker. So, bottom of eccentric, you're pausing, okay? So you pause at the top, okay? It becomes more of an isometric hold, okay? And then when we're coming down the bench, we're going down nice and slowly. So if you think about it, eccentric now is going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, hold, hold, down, hold, hold, up. Okay. So you're not always the top, however, the concentric. You're still contracting. Okay. They are the main advanced training techniques when it comes to training in the gym. And they're all used for weights. Okay. And then if you want to do more cardiovascular endurance, we'll talk about another day. But anyway, get your water in, and I'll see you all later. As well as your protein, okay? Make sure you eat, make sure you train. Bye.